Our next wonderfully gifted speaker is Draca, an energy artist, medium, and a channel who works closely with dragons, the fae, and elemental spirits. Draca's psychic awakening began as a teen, and they've been dancing with energy, colour, and spirit ever since. They're a Reiki master, a certified Zen Tangle teacher, that's a new one to me, and a member of the Order of Bards, Overts, and Druids. And today, Draca will take us on a journey through their dragon-centered awakening, and they may even channel a dragon life for us. So, Draca, welcome to Dragon Talks. How are you? I'll just get you to our boot. There you go.
There we go. I'm on my phone, so I had to remember where the button is.
I know, teleology, eh? But welcome.
Wow. These dragon talks, it's always something else every single time. Whew. So I was called to draw some cards for South Africa for the Golden Lines. So I'm going to go ahead and start by just letting y'all know what came up, and then we'll move into what I had planned. But the dragons may hijack it. You never know.
You never know. That's where it happens.
All right. So the first card I got was the Five of Cups. And in this case, the meaning that I'm getting is don't focus on anything that's been lost. Focus on what's still here in the now, what's currently flowing. It's strong. The next card I got was the Five of Pentacles, which is talking about greed. Greed bringing chaos. The greed that drives people to do things like fracking, messing up the earth, having a physical effect, undeniable, beyond all the woo-woo, all the spirit. This is literally doing things to our planet. So yeah, it's a warning of the chaos that can ensue. So then I asked the cards for some hope after that. And I got the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Wands. The Ace of Cups, stay heart-centered. Strong hearts will be able to help. And the Knight of Wands, take action. Keep yourself strong, do your self-care, but do something with that energy. Oh, yeah.
Powerful messages.
So I get my notes. Okay. Hi, I'm Draca. I got the name from a book from the Black Jewels trilogy by Anne Bishop when I was 18 or 19. And I didn't know how prophetic that choice was going to prove to be. I want to start out by just offering thanks to this community. I've learned so much from the wonderful teachers and just the big hearts in this dragon tribe. Whether you share, comment, and teach yourself or just listen, I'm so grateful for all of you being here. So we're going to start things off Druid style by taking 3 deep breaths. The first one with the land below us. The second one with the sky above us. And third, with the sea that surrounds us. Ooh. So yeah, I have a big story to tell, and even though I've lived through it, there are parts that still feel unbelievable sometimes looking back. I've been experimenting with magic, metaphysics since I was 15, and now I'm 42, so there's your context for all of this. Get my notes. Okay. So I was raised in a very conservative Roman Catholic family. There was a lot of guilt, there was a lot of shame, but there was also a lot of beauty and a very strong belief in my family that deep spiritual connection is possible. Every time he goes to a Catholic Mass, my father speaks in tongues. It happens during the consecration part. And as an adult, I realized I know what he's saying. Sometimes when people speak light language, I know what they're saying. I can't always interpret, but yeah, sometimes I just know. I realized around age 11, though, that I didn't feel the presence of God in the church. It was just a building full of people, and they were droning the same responses over and over. I felt God outdoors, in the forest, in a thunderstorm, or especially looking at the starry sky. I've always been a night person, even as a child. So that was where the divine awe and wonder came for me. And then I went to a public high school and met the goth kids. I started meditating and practicing witchcraft and reading tarot when I was 15. And I later did a self-dedication at 16. And once I started touching that energy consciously, my clairsenses opened up really, really quickly. The very first time I ever cast a circle, I remember seeing the energy coming out of my hand, and I could see the line of blue fire as I traced it along the ground. I started seeing elemental spirits. I started hearing them. I could feel and see the energy. I even got taste and smell. But that came more when I was working with the Fae specifically. Me and one of my really good friends, we were office aides. So basically, we spent a whole period of school. It was our senior year. We had to fill time. We spent a whole period just delivering discipline slips to people to call them to the principal's office, but also just wandering around the school, going outside, taking advantage of what we could get away with. There was one day where there were these beautiful purple flowers all over the field outside the school. So we were like, hey, let's call the fairies. So we went outside and stood in the flowers and invited the fairies to come in. And I felt something land on my shoulder. So I was like, oh, I think I got one. I think I got one. And my friend was like, maybe. I'm not sure. Let's go inside and look. So we went into the bathroom and looked into the mirror. And I could physically see in the reflection a little purple light that looked like a figure with wings sitting on my shoulder. Yeah. So I introduced myself to this spirit and got her name in return, and we talked a little. We were in school, so I had to go to class, but the whole time I was so aware of this being sitting on my shoulder. And after the class was over, I saw another one of our friends who was also into magic. And I was like, hey, look at my shoulder, look what's here. And she flew off. Other early things, I remember the first time I clearly saw an aura. I was in choir class, just kind of zoned out. The teacher was lecturing about something. And all of a sudden, I saw this energy around her, bright blue with silver sparkles. And I poked my friend who was sitting beside me and I was like, do you see that? And she was like, no, what is it? And I told her, and she was like, oh, wow, you can see auras. Yeah, it was hard to play it cool for the rest of class, but that was when I realized that that was happening. I had to focus really hard to get an impression of colors or shapes, but I can see the energy around other people pretty easily. It's like a shimmer. It sometimes pulls really close to the body, sometimes spreads out a little more, but it's there. It's real. So in high school, I was definitely more into the fairy world, but the dragons were always around. One of my first big successes was learning a dragon fog invisibility spell that I got from a book. You were supposed to chant the chant while visualizing smoke and fog around you and trying to blur the edges of your energy. I think the book suggested using this if you didn't want a bully to notice you. And I had some mean teachers, so I was using it on them if I was in the halls and I saw them coming. It worked so well. They never noticed me. I was able to walk right by and they would find someone else. I do vaguely remember meeting some dragons in meditation. I picked up a copy of DJ Conway's first book on dragons at some point, and I know I did some of the exercises from that. I do remember meeting an Aquarius dragon. That was a cool experience. I called on the dragon as a water bearer and asked it to wash me clean, basically, wash my aura for me. And I remember the feeling of that water and starlight flowing down. I was still more into the fae, but yeah, the dragons were around. And my first tattoo, a week after I turned 18, was a dragon to watch my back. So I went to college and started meeting a lot more magical people. And I was absolutely shocked when I realized that they couldn't all see and sense what was going on like I could. I thought that anyone who started practicing magic and doing rituals and working with energy was going to open up. So it really took me by surprise. I had thought that there was nothing special about what I could do. I really did think everybody could. And then I met my first otherkin, who identified as a fairy. And I was surprised. And he was like, "Why are you surprised? You're one too." I was like, "Wait, what? Really? Me?" I stayed skeptical, but I was open to the possibility. I didn't really explore it that much, though. And then when I was 19, I physically saw a ghost. I was living with a partner who I really should have broken up with on the first date, but you're young, you're naive, you do things. So I was angry with him. I didn't want to sleep in the bedroom. I was sleeping on the floor downstairs. And I was relaxing, ready to fall asleep. And it was like a movie. White, glowing light. I started seeing the shape of a foot, and then the foot started manifesting, and I could see the hem of a dress or a robe, and that started coming into focus. And then I completely freaked out when it hit around the knee area, and the visual stopped. But the spirit was still there. So I took some deep breaths, calmed down a little, and I know I talked to her. I don't remember what about, but yeah, that was when I realized, okay, I definitely just saw a ghost. I had another friend who was also clairvoyant. So we started experimenting, connecting with the other world together. It was fascinating the different impressions that we would both get when we were trying to talk to the same spirits. I remember one night we saw a dragon flying through the sky. We were outside on the balcony by my apartments. He thought it was a threat. I tried to tell him, no, this is a blessing. Let's see what the dragon wants. But he was like, no, no, we have to get rid of it. This is going to destroy us. So he hurled some kind of energy bolt at it, and he thought he'd killed it. And he was encouraging his spirit ally army to basically dance around the dragon's skull. I wasn't real happy about it. And I actually saw the dragon fly away. Something told me not to say anything, so I never told him. And then shortly after that, I met that dragon. And I met the indigo dragon, who you're probably going to meet in a little bit. My channel was wide open, but I had no control. I was constantly feeling overwhelmed. So many things were appearing and trying to talk to me. It was hard to concentrate. There was just so much coming in. One of my other exes saw me channel something, and he accused me of having multiple personalities. And at that point, I shut down. I couldn't take it anymore. I started ignoring anything that was coming through my clairs. It never stopped completely, but it mostly shut down. Someone who could see auras looked at me and was like, "Oh, it looks like there's a brown paper bag over you, blocking everything out." But I'm also very neurodivergent, and early 20s, I was dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety. I just, I couldn't deal with the spiritual stuff too. I was still fascinated by the occult. I was just trying to keep the spirits at bay. Go figure, that doesn't work. But I kept reading tarot. I joined an esoteric mysteries group that was studying the cards, and I started practicing more in the Western mystery tradition. I was looking at Hermeticism, Kabbalah. I was doing what felt safe. My practice was all in my head, not in my heart. Then I got hit by a car while I was on foot. PTSD, injuries, it was nasty. I literally lost years recovering. I did manage to claw my way back. I wasn't formally practicing at the time, but the spirits never left. They were helping me. They were quietly, sometimes not so quietly, nudging. And when I could listen, it was a comfort. And I started realizing maybe it was safe to try to open up again. So I did recover enough to live on my own again. I started practicing regularly, doing seasonal rituals, and everything opened back up. My control was still shaky, but I had my spirits again. I had my religious practice again. I started becoming more centered. Around this time, I met a white dragon, and through his encouragement, I started looking for community, talking to other pagan people. I joined a druid grove in the ADF tradition, Arnriocht Fane, which means our own druidry, called Nine Waves. My shaky control of my channeling did cause some issues, but with their help, I learned to turn it down and set boundaries with spirits, which I didn't even realize I could do. But I also learned to be part of a community. I started doing energy healing, mostly aura cleansing, for some of the other people in the Druid Grove. And I started sharing my experiences. I told them about the fairy and other things like that. And I started meeting others with similar gifts. And it was such a huge comfort to just be able to share and talk with other people. Because, yeah, sometimes I felt like I was going absolutely insane. And I eventually settled into polytheism and animism as my spiritual background, my spiritual main worldview, I should say. Those just seemed like the best explanation for all the experiences I'd had. And around this time was when I finally admitted that, yes, I am psychic. Thank you, Hollywood. I thought all psychics had to make predictions and accurately tell people when they were going to die or be able to remote view with crystal clarity. Somehow I missed the talking to dead people part. I never physically saw a ghost again, but I did continue to talk to spirits. I'm better at reading the past and the present to heal, but I do have occasional, very accurate, very strong premonitions. Unfortunately, they're usually sad things. like last year, I just all of a sudden going about my day, I realized that one of my friends had cancer and was going to die. And then a few days later, one of my other friends called to let me know. I do get solid guidance from my cards, but the future is always shifting. So, prediction is something that I honestly do take with a grain of salt. That being said, though, I'm getting clearer all the time, and I'm continuing to learn to trust my intuition and keep an open heart. I kept practicing the ADF style druidry, and I moved to Austin. I met a dragon, and we started dating. I remember the first day we met, he had come to fix my car. He was a mobile mechanic who a friend of mine knew and put me in touch with. And he was sitting in my house cooling off after working outside. And I looked at him and I could see this really bright, really strong aura. And then I saw this figure standing beside him. And I was like, wait, what is that? And then it merged back into his aura. And I was like, whoa, you're not completely human, are you? He just kind of laughed and shook his head and actually invited me to go out that night. And that was the first time I ever met someone who claimed to be a dragon. Around that same time, I went to a big Samhain retreat, Halloween. The energy was amazing. I met a lot of cool people. And when I got home, I was like, okay, let's do some chaos magic. I had a piece of yarn that I had tied energy from Hurricane Harvey into. I'm originally from Texas, so I was living in Houston. And I had a feeling that some part of me was bound and needed to be released. So I cut open all the knots in that string to unbind myself. And that's when things moved up to a whole nother level of weird. And that was when I started coming to the realization that I am very obviously in a human body, living on the earth, having a human experience. But my soul comes from the dragon and the Fey realms. I met my dad, who's a moon dragon, in a meditation. And then I met my mom, who's a Scandinavian siren. I forget the word, I think a knock-in or something like that. But I met her in a past life regression. And during that same regression, I also saw some very strong past life ties with both that dragon who I was dating and his ex. At this time, the other world became just a breath away. I really started feeling like I walk between the two. And sometimes it's hard to deal with things in this world when I want to talk to the spirits more. Sometimes I find them a lot more interesting than human things like work and traffic jams and politics. I continue to have amazing experiences. I remember hearing banshees for 3 nights in a row outside my apartment. On that third night, I was on my balcony watching them, and that was when the ambulance came. And I saw the body bag come out. One of my neighbors died, and I heard the banshees singing before the death. Now that I look back, there's been a lot of death connection. I probably should explore that more. Then COVID happened. My relationship with the dragon ended, and I felt deeply, deeply betrayed. Short version, he got back together with that ex who he was obsessed with and decided that it was a good idea to not tell me, even though we weren't completely broken up at the time. He kind of half-assed it. So I cut all ties with him and that girl. And when I say cut all ties, I mean permanently. I literally called on the Norns, the Norse fates, and asked for all ties between me, him, and her to be completely dissolved, never have any other lives with them, never have to feel their energy, never see them again. Here's the thing, in that past life, we had good intentions at first, but we were not the good guys. So when I did cut ties with them, I got the impression that a soul contract had been fulfilled. I had wanted to get out of Texas for years at that point. I don't like heat, especially when it's humid. And after I cut ties with those two, I got out of Texas 2 months later. That was when I headed to Colorado. I started wondering if the dragon stuff was just all a folie à deux, just a shared delusion between me and that first friend, and then me and the dragonkin. But the dragons stayed. I kept meeting more of them, and I kept meeting more fae spirits, more nature spirits, and they honestly treat me like family. It's so beautiful. It's a huge comfort because my blood family, we don't really get along. We don't even talk anymore. So I kept up the community building. I realized that because I can go so deep, I need support to help me come back, to help me stay here. So I started working with some Obod druids. I was hanging out with the Witches' Coven, and I also started exploring the OTO, Thelema. The Druid Grove. I miss them all so much. We had hikes around the full moon every month, and we would do different things while we were out on that land. Twice I did a drawing down the moon ceremony for this group, and the second time, a moon dragon came through. Several people told me that they had seen or felt dragons both before and after the ritual. And a lot of people took pictures because the moon was amazing that night. And there were dragons in the clouds in every single photo. Everyone could clearly see them. Around this same time, I started following some metaphysical teachers online, and that was how I stumbled on Dragon Thunder from a link from someone's email list. I also realized that I wanted to be able to spend more time on my spiritual work. And the best way to do that seemed to be to look into starting my own spiritual business. Because one of the biggest things that takes me away from my practice is the day job and the stress from that. The dragons and the fae were very supportive. So, with their encouragement, I took the CZT class, a certified Zentangle teacher. So, Zentangle is a method of drawing meditation, and I love it. I love it so much because I do have ADHD, and it can be really hard to just sit there and try to watch the thoughts go by and do the traditional mindfulness meditation. But when I have trouble focusing on that, I can still pick up a pen, and doing Zentangle still has the same kind of benefits as the more typical meditation methods. I also became a Reiki master, and I started doing card readings and selling some of my craft products at vendor fairs. Colorado wasn't home, though. I loved being there, but something was still missing. I started doing sessions with Kelly Springer, and I cannot recommend her enough. Seriously, she's amazing. She helped me contact this green dragon who has apparently been with me for a really, really long time, probably beyond this life. I just didn't realize. And talking to this green dragon, I started realizing how much I missed rain and water. Speaking of water, I need to get a drink. Ah, that's better. Okay. So it was very hard to leave all of the community that I'd built in Colorado, but I took the leap of faith, and around the end of January this year, I moved to Washington, and that's where I am right now. And the trees here, oh, the trees are absolutely amazing. They're so big, it's so green, and they're so still and so ancient. When I try to connect with them, it takes a while. It's like they slowly take their focus from whatever tree things they're doing and slowly come into focus on me. We don't really communicate with words. It's more of a strong feeling. Oh, I love the trees. So now I'm here and I'm doing my best to just get out of my way and trust the guidance that I get and let things develop. I'm working on exploring deeper instead of constantly looking for something new. ADHD, spiritual squirrel. I'm doing a lot of work on soothing my nervous system. And from my Zentangle practice, I actually have an idea for a Lenormand oracle deck that I'm working on with Zentangle style artwork. I've also been doing a lot of violet flame exploration. And I would definitely like to share about that, but I need to go a little deeper and get a clearer picture of what's going on. I'm not sure what's coming, but the omens have been good. My spirit allies continue to encourage me, and I feel settled enough in my new state that I'm starting to work on building my business again. So I do offer Reiki sessions, which I call it Reiki mostly for marketing purposes, but sometimes the dragons come through, sometimes the fairies come through, the elementals, the angels. It goes way beyond just channeling Reiki. I also do tarot and oracle card readings. I am a medium. Sometimes I can talk to your ancestors, your recently departed people who you love. And I can also teach Zentangle classes. I'm working on putting something together that's specifically dragon themed. I don't know if it's going to be a video or a photo essay, but when that's done, I'll definitely share it. So yeah, that's my story. It's definitely been a wild ride. So would you like to meet an indigo dragon?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's do it. I can feel her behind me. I can feel her hands on my shoulders. Oh. You are an interesting group. I know a lot of your dragons. My name isn't important. When I do give a name, it usually relates to what someone needs to release. And that's what I do. I've watched stars be born. I've watched them die. I've watched them be reborn. Everything shifts. Everything swirls. Feel it. Feel the fractals, the connections. So many worlds, so much energy, and it tastes good. I'm a dragon of the void. Some people can see me at the edge of black holes where there's a slight shimmer of something else. That's me. I am love and I am hunger. You can release. You all carry too much, and you don't need to. We are here to help. You are strong. We are strong. There is strength in letting go. And that's what I'm here to help you do right now. Let me have it. Let me have every piece of it. It's healthy to release, let go. The things that you've been holding for far, far too long, let them go. Shiakatiya, shuanawakia, shana. Yes, good. I feel it. It's safe to release. You can let me have it. Yes. Don't feel guilty. It's not yours to hold anymore. Free yourselves. Let your hearts be light. Let yourselves be healed. Shadow creatures like me exist to help you with this, to help you truly surrender what needs to be let go of. Yes. Keep breathing. Stay with me. Call on your dragons. We are always here to prop you up, to support you, to share strength. Yes. Continue to release, continue to let go. I'm going to sing a star song to help transmute what you've given, what needed to be given up. Shu Anakia Shia Takia Nakalia Shatia Shi. Tiwakashia, Tiwakashana. Thank you for trusting. Thank you for listening. Look up, look out. We're here. You can see us. You can feel us. You can hear us. Ooh, it's done. I hope you all feel better. I hope you all feel lighter. I definitely do.
I do. That was beautiful.
So yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Just putting your links in the chat so people have seen them. People are saying thank you, thank you. They felt that.
Even after so many years of, especially when the pandemic first hit, having to meet people on Zoom and do ritual over Zoom instead of in person, I'm still taken by surprise at how strong things can come through electronically. So yes, everyone, you are so welcome.
Yeah, energy has no barriers, does it?
No, that was one of the biggest lessons from the lockdowns.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyone have any questions? Or just lots of thanks? I think it's just lots of thanks.
All right, so as far as the links, my YouTube is very new. I haven't been able to post any videos yet. The day job has been really stressful. My website is also under construction. I am planning to start posting more on Instagram, so that's probably the best place to follow me. And I did see in the chat something popped up about the Void Dragon. So yeah, I met her when I was in my mid-20s, I think, earlier mid-20s. And I initially just knew her as the mother of that black dragon, who was one of the earliest ones that I met. We would talk on and off, but mother energy it's something that I sometimes struggle with. So it was hard to make a connection. That's been a lot stronger in recent years, though. I had a big, deep meditation that I did, and I could feel her there. And that was when I realized who and what she is. She's basically the energy right before the event horizon of a black hole. She's deep, deep indigo, almost black, just the tiniest hint of color. And that's what she does. She helps you release what needs to be let go of. Let it fall into the void and trust that you're not doing anything wrong, that it's okay to let go. Me personally, so much of the time, I try to release things, but I feel like they're still my responsibility. Like there's still something that I need to do, that I have to do. And that's her biggest message is no. It is an act of absolute love to let things that need to be destroyed be destroyed. I love her to pieces, but honestly, she's terrifying. She's definitely got some similar energy to Kali Ma. The devouring mother is how I think of her. And the name that she gave me was a version of my birth name, which was something that I needed to release. I'm non-binary, so I needed to let go of my assigned female name. So yeah, that's her.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah. The longer I talk to other people, the easier it gets to share these things, to let it flow through. My throat chakra has been really opening these past couple months. It still feels a little weird to do it on video, but it is what it is. Can you commune with her yourselves? Absolutely. The best way to make contact is probably to meditate under a starry sky. Lay down and look up. Her energy tends to manifest as streaks in the sky, streaks of a deep indigo. At least that's what I see. So your mileage may vary. But yeah, absolutely, you can talk to her. I think she would like that. Oh, you're welcome. Whew. Okay, well, that feels done to me.
Sounds good to me.
Uh, I have to say, I'm really looking forward to Dragon Thunder. I really hope I can get the money together to pay for the replays because I'm probably going to have to work that day, so I know I'll miss some of it. But I'm looking forward to catching what I can live for sure. Oh, and I just wanted to mention for anyone else who's any kind of spiritual practitioner, I love to trade services. So feel free to text or email or DM me.
Beautiful. I'll just put in the link again for the Dragon Thunder 2025. And you're going to have, we had 2 speakers today. Imagine this times 15. The energy is going to be immense. If anyone ever watches every single person live, I'd be surprised if you don't end up in another universe somewhere with the purple dragons or something. But, it's powerful. Luckily this time there's 6 hosts. I've got 5 other hosts assisting me, which is great. So I only have to be there for 5 of them in person because that's enough energy for anyone. But I get to watch all the replays because I then edit all the videos. So by the end of that, I'm normally like, I must really attach myself to the earth before I get flown off somewhere. The energy is powerful, and you can imagine it's beautiful shares like we've had today. So please do come and show your faces for the beautiful speakers and all their links are on that page. So if you scroll down, you'll see their beautiful smiling faces, and you'll see all of their links and all the information about them. So if you go through it, 1 or 2 of them will pop out to you as if to say, why do I know that person? And I hear all the time when people say, I connected with so and so. Yeah, that Kelly person, that Kelly Springer, she's amazing. I saw her picture. She's got this big beaming smile. I contact her, and she's as beautiful as that smile. And I go, yeah, there she is. Or someone else, maybe it's there's so many of them there that they're all gorgeous beings, and they're all at different points in the story of dragons, and you won't resonate with all of them like we don't resonate with everyone in life, but there'll be some that will just pop out to you. And an accountant friend of mine that doesn't believe in dragons, just more numbers, he listened to one of the speakers and he's like, she channeled a dragon and I believed it. I was like, good, there you go. Yeah, and he's looking forward to watching again this time. They'll only watch one of them because the others are like, they're too woo-woo for me. But that's fine. You know, we slowly opening up people's minds, and yeah, it, whoever works for you, it works for you. Draca, thank you. Casca, watching the replay, thank you. It's beautiful to have you both on today. And as I said, if you want to come on and share your story, it doesn't have to be for half an hour. It can be 10 minutes. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll get together all the people that will do a short one. You can all help each other and go send lots of love to each other. But a 10-minute story or a 5-minute story or even a 2-minute story is beautiful, because there's people out there that are having the dragon energy coming in and they're afraid to say that. I was afraid the first time the dragon came in. So if you're all popping up saying, it's nothing, you're not mad. There's a group over on Facebook. It's got like 3,000 people and they all talk about dragons. You know, so maybe there's 3,000 are nutty. So what? Yeah. So anyway, it's beautiful to have seen you all again. This video will be out tomorrow, spreading its way, so everyone can watch the replay. It'll be in the Dragon Thunder group. It'll be on the Dragon Portal. It'll be on YouTube, and I may even create a podcast out of them. So I like to share it everywhere. So thank you much for showing your faces and sending all the love. Let's send all the love again to Draca and to our beautiful speakers. So I'm just going to press that love button. I love pressing this button. This is one of the best things about Zoom now.
It is fun to see all the little hearts.
Oh, it's beautiful to see all the hearts. Remy's managed to get it work out, and so is George. Good. Well, see you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. There you go. Bye.